An old bobcat risked his last breath for a lion cub, and what happened next is unbelievable. The storm was over, but the forest was shattered. Trees lay broken like bones, and streams had turned into rivers, wild and raging under a bruised gray sky. Down near the water's edge, something moved. A sound, thin, weak, almost drowned by the roar. A lion cub. No more than a few weeks old. It clung to a fallen log, its golden fur soaked and heavy, tiny claws scrabbling for grip as the current tore past. Every surge nearly ripped it away. One more push, and it would be gone. It had been swept from its mother's side in the night, carried miles by the flood. Now, it was alone. And fading. High on a ridge above the torrent, an old bobcat stood frozen. Scarred fur. Hollow ribs. A shadow of what he once was. Age and wounds had stolen his speed. Hunger had made him crueler. And yet, as he stared at the struggling cub, something shifted deep inside. Not hunger, not hate. Something older than both. He paced the ridge, tail twitching, claws scraping stone. Every instinct screamed stay away. That river was a grave for the strong, and he was not strong anymore. But then the cub cried again. A sound too small for such a merciless place. And the bobcat jumped. The water hit like a wall. It slammed him under, spun him like a leaf. Branches lashed his sides. His lungs burned as he clawed for air. He broke the surface, eyes blazing. Ahead, the cub was pinned, wedged between two broken logs, its tiny body thrashing weakly. The bobcat fought his way forward. Shoved his shoulder against the biggest log. It didn't move. His claws slid on slick bark. The current shoved him back, muscles screaming, vision blurring. For a heartbeat, he almost let go. Then the cub bleated again, thin, broken, and the bobcat roared. Not the roar of a hunter, but of something refusing to die. With one last surge, he heaved. The log rolled. The cub tumbled free, straight into the torrent. The bobcat lunged, teeth finding the scruff just as the river dragged them both down. They spun through the current, choking, tumbling, until at last, mud under his paws. He staggered to shore and collapsed, the cub limp in his jaws. For a long, terrible moment, neither moved. Then, a breath. A tiny chest rising. A faint cry slicing through the silence. The bobcat laid the cub down, his body trembling, his breath ragged. He stayed there until the sun broke through the clouds, watching that fragile life cling to the world. Watching, and feeling something he thought he'd lost forever, purpose. When the cub finally rose on shaky legs and vanished into the trees, the bobcat turned back to the hills alone. But the story didn't end there. 2 nights later, the forest fell silent as heavy steps shook the ground. The bobcat opened his eyes. She was there. The lioness. And beside her, the cub. No longer weak. Standing proud in the golden light. Behind them, shadows moved. The pride. The lioness stepped forward and dropped a fresh kill at his feet. Not a hunt. A gift. She lowered her head, touched her nose to his scarred face, and turned away. The cub glanced back one last time. And in that look was a promise, that in this wild world, kindness is never lost.